What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here doing a TLG reacts to 3 videos of an upcoming game called Wildgate. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. This is a game being developed by ex-Blizzard devs. We've been hearing about it for a while now, ever since they created a dev, I believe, called Dreamhaven or something like that. I have not watched anything on this game at all. I'm purely interested in it because we got some people who worked at Blizzard. Obviously, regardless of how you feel about Blizzard right now, they have been at least a dev that can produce high quality stuff. So I'm curious to see what people who broke away from that will make. But also, I've heard a little bit of information on this game, and apparently it is I think it's a PvPvE game, but it kind of sounds similar to a game I already played called Marauders, where you go onto ships, fight NPCs and other people, and then you have to extract. So might not be your cup of tea, but I could be wrong. I think that's what I read about, though. So that definitely sounds like something I would play, and I definitely welcome more games, especially right now where there's such a lack of interesting FPSs out there right now outside of the finals. You should be playing the finals. It's season 6 right now. It's fucking you should be playing it. But in that, there's not a whole lot of games out there, so I definitely welcome people trying to break into the market because I feel like it's a good time for that. But do you have any anticipation for Wildgate or anything? Any thoughts?
I wouldn't even have known it was a thing had you not told me. So,
yeah.
No anticipation.
It was originally one of the presentations we watched and reacted to. Probably was Jeff Keighley, one of Jeff Keighley's. He had brought up that they had made that dev and that they had this big project they were working on. And then so I was curious about what they're going to do. And then I think he's the one who revealed this.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah. I mean, this is mostly just going to be a curiosity thing for me. If it is PvEVP, I'm not going to be even remotely interested, but it could show potential, for future projects depending on their success. So,
yeah, at the very least, it can kind of show us what they're playing with in terms of as being a now new developer, which is exciting to see new developers show up when people are getting laid off and places are closing down. It's nice to see some new life happening in the games industry. So, at the very least, it'll be interesting to see what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
So, we have 3 videos to watch. The first one is official announcement trailer. Next one is an overview trailer, which I'll appreciate, and then a hands-on preview. So, with all that, let's watch these and find out a bit about Wildgate. The first one is the official announcement trailer in 3, 2, 1, and go. All right.
Welcome to the Reach, a vast realm of discovery and brutal explosions.
Got a cartoony look, but graphics seem pretty good.
But hey, I'm sure you'll be fine. Now, you're gonna need a tough team.
Time to break something. Hello, Luke.
And an even tougher ship.
Quality upgrade.
Keep her flying, and you'll find wonders beyond your wildest dreams.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's a ship you're going to be all on, upgrading, it seems.
Blast you and take your loot. That's a distinct possibility.
The artifact is getting away.
So get ready. When your airtight plan goes out the airlock,
Into the fray.
improvise. Use your turrets.
Stealing their stuff.
Hell, use their turrets. Traps, tractor beams, big red buttons.
Overloaded their reactor.
Because the Reach gives,
Resources in. Coming in hot.
and the Reach takes.
Damage! Major damage!
Can't promise fame and fortune here,
Mine layer here!
or that you'll even make it back.
Get to the gate. Go, go, go,
But
go.
I can't
This-
promise this.
That's my artifact.
It's gonna be one hell of a
I
story.
wonder how the developers of Marauders feels about this game. It has almost the exact same system.
their game have more of a realistic look to it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Marauders has like a. It's not steampunk. Well, what's the other term? Something punk. It looks like World War I or World War II, like everything's steel and like submarine like.
Okay.
But it's realistic looking. But in Marauders, you enter a match and you're in a ship, and you enter through gates, and then you, while you're flying around your ship, are able to shoot at other people and NPCs in their ships. You can board their ships, and then you enter bigger ships. They're like instances. When you go in there, it's like a first-person shooter. You do stuff, you get stuff, and then you extract back to your ship, and then you have to exit out of a gate. So it seems like the exact same game, almost. So that's interesting. Well, let's see. What's the next one we got here? Overview. Let's watch the overview, and then we'll talk about what we think. This is the overview trailer. 3, 2, 1, and go.
I want to tell you about a place called the Typhon Reach. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's where legends are made. Legends like the Gamma Gang. They did a smash and grab on the artifact like nobody's ever seen.
I'm not super excited about like how cartoony it looks, but I kind of like how weird the designs are.
You're after one thing, the artifact. The most valuable object in the known
But I'm
universe.
sick of like cartoony looking games. It's like when Modern Warfare came out and every game was like gray and realistic looking, and that got really boring after a while. Like I'm sick of cartoony looking games now.
It all starts with your ship. Whether you're mining asteroids, scanning for loot, or battling borders, the right ship isn't just a choice. It's your edge in the fight to stay alive. You could go big with the Bastion, packed full of gadgets and guns, but they'll see you coming a light year away.
This is kind of giving me
Or go small
CFD's
with a hunter.
vibes.
Just don't get caught.
Having
'cause
different ship types
those
like
shields
that.
will not last. Remember, your ship is your lifeline. You lose your ride, it's mission over. Your crew, on the other hand, can handle whatever the Reach throws at them. Armed with the right weapons, tools,
Yeah,
and
and I mean,
special skills.
the
It's all hands
idea
on
of
deck.
like obviously
That's one thing
having
the
to,
Gamma
like,
Gang
make
understood.
stuff like that.
It's
Like,
not about
I like
sticking to
that kind
one
of stuff. I
job.
think
It's
it's
about supporting your crew,
a fun
mining for
mechanic,
resources, keeping the engines
adds
running,
another
putting out
layer,
fires.
you know, obviously,
Every
to
crew member counts.
vehicular
Because when
combat.
things start to heat up, it's either you or them. The Reach is a living, breathing death trap. Cosmic storms, Reach leeches, lava asteroids, and space mines. To get a handle on what's out there, you're gonna need to scout ahead. Probes are your best bet to map the area. Locate hazards.
Okay, so there's
supplies,
environmental
and
hazards.
hidden treasures. It's also how the Gamma Gang stayed one step ahead of the other crews. Fuel and ice. Without them, the job gets a lot tougher. If your reactor overheats, you'd better have ice on hand to cool it down. And fuel gives your ship the extra boost it needs for a quick getaway.
Ice?
Running out won't leave you
Guess
stranded.
so.
But trust me, without it, you're as good as Reach dust. If you want to pull this off, you'll need the best loot you can find. All over the Reach are lost caches of cutting-edge ship upgrades, powerful weapons, and gear that gives you the upper hand. But do not get cocky. The better the goods, the tougher they'll be to grab. This place is teeming with vicious little surprises. Grab what you can and make it quick, because those other prospectors could crash the party at any moment. Which reminds me, watch your back, because those rival squads will try to board your ship. Keep your guns loaded, your multi-tools ready to repair. They'll do everything they can.
I wonder if
to
they'll
try to
have
sabotage you. Don't let 'em.
PvE servers. Like it's not an open world game, so when I say server, I mean like matches. You just
Now,
go in and
back to the big
fight the
score.
environment.
The artifact. You never know where it'll pop up, or what kinds of hell you'll have to go through to get it. Many prospectors went in that day, but only the Gamma Gang came out. But it wasn't over yet. They made a mad dash for the Wildgate, and the other crews were hot on their tail. Which brings us back to here. Now, the Gamma Gang did make it to the Wildgate, but I never said they made it through. They had the
Caught the part
guns,
where
the
we
fuel,
went back
the
in time, apparently.
upgrades. The plan was perfect. Or so they thought. Because there was one thing they didn't expect. Me. That's the Reach, kid. I didn't play fair. And you don't have to either. Because out here, the only plan that
This
counts
game's basically
is the
Marauders,
one you make up on the
but
fly.
it's interesting how this game's coming out, and then you also have that Jump Ship game coming out that are two games about working with a team of people on a ship, and I kind of like that we're seeing some more polished, nicer looking games coming out like that, because that's been a thing for a while. There's been games that have attempted cooperative ship games. Sea of Thieves, of course, is one, but that's on the ocean, but like more space-centric games. But some of them come out that are like kind of janky, or their systems don't work very well, so it's kind of nice to see more streamlined games coming out. They'll be more accessible to more people, giving it more life, hopefully. So I'm definitely kind of like here for it in terms of like seeing all these cooperative space games that are more than just like a shooter, but also have the whole ship component. I think it's kind of neat. So obviously this one's going to be a little rough for you because it's got the PvP element, unless they have a PvE style or mode you can play. But yeah, before we jump into the preview to hear somebody talk about their hands-on impressions with it, I've kind of already gone over my thoughts. I'm not a huge fan of the cartoony style, but I do like, if you took the cartooniness out of it, some of the designs are interesting. Some of them are kind of like whatever looking to me too. They kind of like you asked an AI to just make you a design real quick and you just accepted it. But I like the little like tank dude that has the guy floating in him. I think that's kind of cool looking. The ships are kind of generic looking, but it seems like the locations are varied, which is cool. I'm curious about how weapons and upgrades and stuff like that will work. It did say that at one point you'll while on missions be finding things like upgrades. So I wonder if it's going to be purely extraction shooter, or if there's going to be like permanent upgrades, or if it's going to be like a typical extraction shooter. All of your gear is lost if you die, and you have to start from square one. That'd be typical, but I feel like a game like this, I would hope would have some kind of like permanent progression. So I'd be curious to see how that's handled. But if it's like Marauders has money that you gain as well, and as you get more money, you can buy stuff before you enter each match. So I could imagine it basically doing that. I feel like this dev saw Marauders, saw that it's not super popular, and went, "Hey, why don't we do something like that?" So yeah, but overall, I think it looks interesting. This is definitely a game I think I would try out. I don't know if it's going to be a premium game or a free-to-play game, but if it was at a fair price, premium-wise, I would probably pick it up to try it out. If it's free-to-play, I would definitely try it out just because, what do you have to lose? But I have a slight curiosity about it. I just not super hyped on, just because I think the art style's a little too safe. A little too cartoony, a little too not quite Fortnite, but just accessible to everybody. And I would like a little more definitive of a identity, I guess. That robot design's kind of cool looking though. I don't know, but yeah, I think it looks interesting.
Yeah. What can I say positively about it?
You don't have to say anything positive if you don't have anything positive to say.
Well, I do have some stuff. So I do think the shields are. I kind of like the idea, like the visuals of it, like shattering and sections and stuff like that. And I also like when they collide, it did make both of them shatter. That is a neat idea. I also think it is technically a nice looking game. I think it is aesthetically not my style.
Yeah.
Other than that,
It reminds me kind of WildStar.
yeah,
That
it does.
MMO?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, other than that, there's quite honestly, there's virtually nothing here I found interesting though.
Okay.
I think the designs are not my favorite. I'll just say
That giant Falcor looking dude. I don't really like the design
the
of
way
him.
the narration's done just reminds me of anything where they're going to rely on quippy dialogue the entire time, and it's going to be exhausting. Yeah, I don't think I'm the right person for this.
Yeah, the sense of humor that they had almost reminded me of like how Concord was trying to be like Guardians of the Galaxy, basically, and its like quirkiness in its trailers or whatever. And we saw how how Concord did, but got pulled in 17 days, which is fucking crazy.
And ice as a cool off mechanic seems a little weird in a game where you're flying spaceships.
I thought that was kind of weird too. Just because why wouldn't you have some kind of like, at the very least, like coolant extinguisher? It's a small nitpick, but yeah, I agree. It was kind of like,
It's just a weird
why would it be
decision.
ice? Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe they have like a cool mechanic with it that they just were like super into, and so they just landed on that. But
Yeah.
on that, I have no idea either. So
Yeah.
all right, well, before we hop out of here, let's watch this hands-on preview. See if there's any information here that might change our minds. This is the first hands-on preview. In 3, 2, 1, go.
I guess I sorta suspected the day would come when my inner despot would awaken to wreak havoc on the galaxy, but I was surprised just how quickly it went down after just a few minutes with the upcoming spacefaring shooter, Wildgate. This chaotic sci-fi first-person shooter blends PvE and PvP objectives alongside exploration and combat on foot and aboard a ship that requires multiple people to operate, a formula that may feel quite familiar to any fellow Sea of Thieves fans. But unlike Sea of Thieves, where the chaos of player-on-player piracy is a somewhat infrequent and optional distraction, in Wildgate it's the primary focus, and the inevitable clash of geared-up crews left me feeling the same heart-pounding intensity of a battle royale, as I barked commands at my crewmates and watched my enemies become just another cluster of space debris.
This person should play Marauders.
This win is a story for the
They like this.
ages.
Wildgate pits 5 teams of 4 players against one another in a competitive space heist, where time is of the essence and anything goes in these 20 to 40 minute brawls. Though there are 20 players in each procedurally generated world, you're unlikely to run into any rival crews at the outset, instead using the calm before the storm to explore the miniature dungeons scattered throughout the cosmos. By delving into these places, slaying enemies that lie within, solving minor puzzles, and claiming loot, my squad and I gathered upgrades to bring back to our ship, including more powerful turrets, better shielding for our ship, ammo, healing items, and personal weaponry to carry into future battles. But our real purpose behind conquering these places as quickly as possible was to find the one and only artifact hidden in each map. By collecting this all-important relic, every opposing team would be notified that we'd done so and be given an ongoing ping of our location as well. Then it was a mad dash to the Wildgate, and if we
Yeah.
could fend off the
Surprise
enemies
everyone
long enough
knows.
to get to it, we'd instantly win the match and leave our adversaries choking on our space dust.
Yeah, it's definitely taking a lot of inspiration from a lot of.
Naturally, every single rival
Games.
player on the map would throw their full weight into preventing our escape, which is where the hilariously fun, full-on chaos of Wildgate shows itself. Though you can respawn infinitely after being killed, if someone destroys your ship, you're knocked out of the match for good when killed, giving PvP especially high stakes. Ship-to-ship space combat is an intense, highly cooperative effort where you'll need to share responsibility for
I feel like this
piloting,
game's gonna
manning
have to be
mounted
free to
weapons,
play.
and repairing damage. The tools you've
It
looted
looks
along
like
the
a free-to-play
way can
game,
make that
so.
job easier and can have a pretty profound impact on how you approach combat. For example, on one run, my crew found a bunch of close-range turrets that encouraged us to get up close and personal with the enemy to do high damage, while in another match, I found a long-range sniper turret that allowed me to chip away at the enemy from a distance.
We must cool the reactor.
Of course, if you prefer a more subtle approach, you can always jump into space and jetpack your way aboard an enemy ship to blast enemies while they're focused on piloting the ship, plant bombs to deal massive damage to their hull, steal the artifact out from under their noses if they've left it unguarded, or just hit the self-destruct button and defend the area until their core goes nuclear and wipes them out. This can turn the tables on an enemy that has better gear on their ship or has managed to outmaneuver you with their piloting skills by distracting their
the
ability to
destruction.
manage the vessel
The
and pull
damage is good.
focus
Yeah,
on
it looks
other,
good.
more pressing objectives. If you'd rather not go through the trouble of hunting down an artifact and racing through the escape gate, then you can do what I did, and simply hunt down and eliminate every single enemy crew until you're the last team standing. They can't extract the artifact if they're dead, after all. This approach can prove especially effective since you're able to scrap every down ship for parts to add them to your growing arsenal. And if you're especially slimy, like me, you can wait to ambush the enemy while they're busy with a PvE dungeon, blowing up their ship while it's unmanned, then swooping in to claim the hard-won loot from the area they were in the middle of clearing out. All's fair in love and space piracy, my friends.
Stillness after destruction.
I was pleasantly surprised by the depth and replayability of this no-holds-barred slugfest, and after more than 6 hours, I still felt like I was only just beginning to figure out the best strategies to pull off a win consistently.
Yeah, this is
For
gonna be a
example,
game
I
that-
learned the hard way that if you're chasing an enemy ship who is seconds away from escaping through the Wildgate and you're bombarding them with everything you've got, you should probably make sure you're standing far enough away to not also blow yourself up in the process,
Interesting.
resulting in a draw.
This game that
Unlocking new
after
characters
like
and gear
a
as
week
you
or two of it
score
being
XP
out, people
also
who are playing with
provides
their
some
friends
new
are going to be
options,
just
like the bird-like
annihilating
character Moat,
like
whose
randos. Like
ability
this
to
is
become
definitely a game where
invisible
like
when
coordination's
boarding
going to
enemy
really
ships
matter.
can be especially
That's every
useful in
game, but
pulling
like
off
a game like this
subterfuge.
with this many variables and strategies you can come up with to
After
take
the
someone's
small
ship out
taste,
quickly,
I already
you're
get the
going to get
impression
fucking
that
steamrolled.
Wildgate will be one of those games where crazy things happen every single match that send me howling to my friends in victory or defeat, then swapping war stories with anyone who will listen the next morning. And if it manages to pull that off, it could very well be my next squad-based obsession.
Not sure what it is, but I got a surprisingly good feeling about this place.
For more, check out our previews of Clair Obscure, Expedition 33, and
I'm very
Absalom.
interested in that, though.
And for everything else,
All right, so we got some more insight on the gameplay. That actually was probably the best of the 3 videos we watched for me, just because we got to actually see just like pure gameplay and some description of it.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty straightforward. It sounds literally like most extraction shooters. It sounds a lot like Marauders. It does sound kind of like Hunt in the sense that you have to grab something and extract with it. Whereas like Marauders, you can literally show up. Well, in Hunt, you can leave at any time too. But Marauders, there isn't like a hard objective. You're just going there to pillage and then leave. There are missions you can go on to find specific things, but whereas like Hunt, you go in the match, you're supposed to go kill the monster and extract. But so this has something similar to that. And there are like a lot of interesting mechanics going on, a lot of things that you would have to learn over time. I saw at one point they had grabbed something and teleported back to the ship, so I'm sure that's an item you're going to get that you're going to have. I don't know how many uses you get out of it, but different things to kind of change up your strategies, which I think does sound interesting. Gameplay also looks pretty smooth. Shooting seems all right. I hate that it does the ADS without any kind of sight or scope. It just kind of zooms in, but I guess with a weapon that doesn't have like a sight on it, what are you going to do? But it always feels kind of lazy when first-person shooters do that. So I'm not a big fan of that. I think the ship combat sounds interesting, and I like the destruction of the ships. I was looking at the shields after you had mentioned how they break, and I kind of noticed it before, but this time around I really was kind of appreciating the pieces you're chipping off as you're shooting it, but then also when they were crawling over an enemy ship, the way that the glass and the metal was all destroyed actually looked pretty good. And then watching the ships actually like explode or whatever, it seems like you're actually doing like, it seems like they put some work into like the damage aspect of the ship combat. So I do appreciate that. I think that looks kind of cool, especially because there's, both the ship shooting at each other, but also you can like leave the ship and just like try to board them or attack them from floating around space. So that seems kind of cool. I was thinking though while we're watching this that, and like you said, it looked free to play to you, but I feel like this game's going to have to be free to play because with the amount of mechanics and systems involved and how certain people are going to get like really good at this and other people might not be as good at it, asking someone to pay for that experience might be a little rough. So free to play allows everyone to try a game out, without having to invest. And I feel like a brand new shooter that's not, overly simplistic might need to be free to play just to get people to even try it because, a random person looking for a shooter sees this as like $30, $40, whatever. They might, go, that sounds kind of weird. I don't know, especially if it's not being talked about. So Yeah, I feel like it's gonna have to be free to play, but we'll see. Yeah, I still feel like this is a game I would definitely enjoy. It definitely seems like my speed. I'm not in love with the visual style of it, but I do like the systems, and I do like that it seems familiar to me, but also a little different with how blatant the combat seems like it's gonna happen. Whereas like in Hunt, you can go a whole match without seeing somebody. Or you can actively avoid them because the sound engine is like so fucking amazing that like you can really like get a lot of info just from people shooting stuff in the distance. And then Marauders, you can go a whole match without seeing someone too, although you might run into them in space. But anyway, this just seems like you're definitely going to run into people and shoot at them, but I don't know if that's how their play session was designed or not. So yeah, overall, definitely a game I will keep an eye on. I don't have a big hype for it, but I think it sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion pretty much stands from the first couple of videos. The only other addition I'm really going to add is I agree. I think the hull damage is well done, and I would like to see a lot more games do that kind of stuff. To be honest, I think it's nice when you get like damage that isn't like these like determined, like you do enough damage to wall goes away type thing. Instead, it's just like this spot that got shot a bunch. Like it looks like you actually blasted a hole in it. So that I like. Other than that, the gameplay loop itself, like I said, is just not going to be for me at all. The visual style is not for me at all. I would much rather do nothing, honestly, than play the game. So
That's fair.
yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Let us know in the comments what you guys think about the preview for Wildgate. Does it look like a game you would play? Maybe you're curious about it. Maybe it's a game like maybe you're in Chevy's boat where you would not want to play a game like this. How do you feel about the graphics, the visual style of it? It as a first-person shooter, the concept of it. Do you like games like this? Do you play extraction shooters? What's some of your favorites? And yeah, do you have any interest in playing this? Let me know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to Wildgate. I think it's going to do it for this episode of TLG Reacts. As always, thank you for watching. We just did a TLG Reacts to the Nintendo Direct that happened, so make sure to go watch that. And in that TLG Reacts, we did a Monster Hunter Wilds reaction to the first free update that's coming out. So if you want to know our opinions on that, it's in that Nintendo Direct TLG Reacts, and we're going to do another TLG Reacts as well. So stay tuned for that. But thanks for watching. I've been Seth, this has been Chevy, and until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.